Hello and welcome to Minerals, Rocks, and Fossils Hacks. I'm your paleo teacher Jen and it's time for Fossil Friday. Do I even need to introduce this famous little feathered friend? Probably not, but I'm going to anyway. This is Archaeopteryx, the ancient wing, and it is the first bird discovered, if not the oldest bird entirely. The initial discovery was a single feather in 1860 or 61 from the Solnhofen limestone formation in Germany. It was described by Hermann von Meyer, and you can check out his Throwback Thursday video from 2 weeks ago. He's a pretty cool dude. The first skeleton, known as the London specimen, was unearthed around the same time as the feather in 1861, also in Germany. It was described by the dinosaur king himself, Sir Richard Owen, in 1863, and was subsequently mentioned by Charles Darwin in his 4th edition of The Origin of the Species, where he said, "Hardly an ancient discovery shows more forcibly than this how little we as yet know of the former inhabitants of the world." Hear, hear, we still don't. Since those first two 12 specimens have been recovered, all from Germany, and mostly from the Solnhofen limestone. It lived during the late Jurassic period when Germany was part of an archipelago at the edge of the Tethys Sea. The Solnhofen limestone is particularly good at preserving fossils, and this is because it was deposited by placid lagoons with limited access to open ocean, meaning salinity was high and scavengers were low. Oxygen levels were also low, meaning that anything that died or drifted into the lagoons became buried in the soft carbonate mud without decaying or being torn up by currents, etc. The Solnhofen limestone is considered a Lagerstätten, or perfect preservation. Due to the incredible preservation of this Solnhofen limestone, one can get an incredible snapshot into the world which Archaeopteryx lived in. It lived alongside over 100 types of fish, including Ischiotis, Asterodermis, Paleocarcharius, Caturus, Pleuropholus, Belanostomus, Leptolepides, and Undina. It also lived alongside reptiles like Ardiosaurus, a primitive gecko, rhynchocephalians like Homoeosaurus and Cephalosaurus, ichthyosaurs like Aegirosaurus, turtles such as Solnhophia, look how cute it is, crocodilomorphs like Alligatorellus, Cricosaurus, and Dacosaurus. Several dinosaurs also lived alongside Archaeopteryx, including Alcmanevis, our buddy Compsognathus, which I did a video on with other Compsognathids earlier this month, so check that out. Juravenator, Ostromia, Sciuramimus, and Welnhoferia, who looks a bit like our Archaeopteryx buddy. Pterosaurs were also plentiful and included Aneurognathus, Bellenbrunus, Germanodactylus, Pterodactylus, Rhamphorhynchus, and Scaphognathus. Archaeopteryx was roughly the size of a raven with broad wings that were rounded on the ends. It was almost 2 feet long, or about 50 centimeters, with a wingspan of little over 2 feet, or 70 centimeters. The feathers have a very similar structure to modern bird feathers. On the wings, they were asymmetrical with veins stabilized by barbicel arrangements like modern birds. And the tail feathers were a little more symmetrical, again, like modern bird tails. They had pennaceous feathers running along the back, similar to contour feathers in modern birds, and they seem to have had proto-down beneath those outer feathers. In 2011, scientists used a scanning electron microscope and energy dispersive X-ray analysis to detect the structure of melanosomes, pigment cells, in the isolated feather specimen. The feather was determined to be black throughout and non-iridescent. Perhaps it's time to try our luck on one or more of the complete specimens and see what other colors may have been present in the plumage. Ooh-hoo-hoo. Now, the presence of flight feathers indicates that Archaeopteryx was likely a flying theropod, though due to its non-avian traits such as a lack of a bony breastbone and the sideways orientation of the glenoid or shoulder joint, which indicates it couldn't lift its arms above its back like modern flight-capable birds, many wonder if it was just a simple glider. Some scientists have suggested that the flight muscles might have attached to the thick wishbone, plate-like coracoids, or even a cartilaginous sternum, and that they may have used a downstroke only flap-assisted glide technique. Some studies suggest a completely different flight stroke configuration entirely for non-avian flying theropods. A study done in 2018 showed that it could have flown in short bursts like modern pheasants using a front-to-back flap similar to a grabbing motion. Well, thanks for coming to today's lesson, and make sure you tune in Monday, where we start our new month with our new unit about halides. And we're going to start with the main halide itself, halite. And it's going to be a delicious Monday talk. Only if I actually decide to eat the halide, but we'll get into that later. So fossilize you later.